welcome everyone. It's lovely to see you all here and to kind of officially start our training, online training process within WOBA for our dear members. We are lucky and honored to have Vedran here with us today. Vedran brings over 20 years of experience as a corporate communication expert, and he worked with leading and still works with leading private companies in marketing, advertising, and public relations. You have Vedran's kind of long bio shared with you, and you maybe already know him, so I won't take any time, but he what I find very interesting, also played a key role in establishing Bloomberg Adria office in Sarajevo, and also played a key role in establishing Bloomberg Adria throughout the region in all countries of, let's call it ex-Yugoslavia. So it's I had an opportunity to listen to Vedran on several occasions, and I'm very happy and glad that we can kick off this kind of new set of activities within WOBA with him, and we are all very happy to be able to share with you opportunity to kind of listen to him and participate in his workshop. So Vedran, thank you. We're very happy to have you here, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nevena. Thank you, Tamara, for having me today. So we'll have a workshop on effective communication skills. I prepared some of the slides, but let's kick off with actually a question for all of you. Okay. So take your phones and scan the QR code. Now let's answer this question: how to start your presentation in an engaging and impactful way. So let me see, what do you think about it? Please, let's kick off with this question. Wow. Okay, so combining techniques and still receiving responses. Thank you. As you can see, it's very interactive, so we can all look and see what do we answer. So combining techniques is number one. Good job, guys. Start with a compelling story. Ask thought-provoking questions. Okay, share a relevant quote. So all of these are really good ways how to start the presentation. Combining techniques, I believe, is the best way, if you ask me, and I actually agree with Crystal Wong. She's saying, if you are cracking your head on how to start your presentation, humor is a great way to start a presentation. Obviously, I start with a question. However, humor is the good way to start. In that sense, I found this little anecdote, and it says, how would you write "I change a light bulb" on your resume? And it says here, single-handedly managed the successful upgrade and deployment of new environmental illumination system with zero cost overruns and zero safety incidents. It actually doesn't change factual things, but the narrative is very important. Why I'm specifying the narrative? Because you're here attending this webinar and you want to help yourself to be better in communication. And the narrative is one of the ways how to get there and how to present even little things in the most impactful way. Therefore, my first job for all of you, and I'm just wondering, will you be in position? I hope that you all have your, let's say, camera and microphone on. Can you tell me your name and your superpower? Your name and superpower. Who wants to go first? And when I say superpower, it's something which is, bear in mind, we're not talking about this is all to help us be better in our daily job, in our profession, in our career. So give me some superpower which is related to your job. Who wants to go first?
I can go first. Hi, Vedran.
Hi.
My name is Gina, and my superpower is well-organized person.
Excellent.
Thank
Milica?
Milica, my name is Milica, and my superpower is not actually so good in when we're speaking about communications, because I'm improvising all the time.
So
Yeah.
you are good in improvising.
Yes, I am actually.
So that's your superpower. Okay. Who wants to go next? Okay. Nobody. Some people are shy. That's okay. That's fine. Why I'm doing this little exercise? Why do we have to say our name and our superpower? The main thing is to, in a way, be relevant. In a way, be relevant for your audience. For example, when I introduce myself to anybody who doesn't know me, I say, "Hi, my name is Vedran. I help clients elevate their brand reputation. I help my clients to improve their brand reputation." And that's something that I do. And it doesn't say that I'm CEO, manager, or whatever, consultant. No, I just state I help my clients elevate their brand reputation. So in that sense, try to think about, what do you do the best in your daily job? Is it I improvise, I handle stress, I eat stress for breakfast? Even that can be your superpower. I eat stress for breakfast. Or I'm Superman of organization, or superwoman of organization. I excel in organizing things. Let me help you organize your job, your whatever you do, your tasks. So think about something that you really excel, and when you introduce yourself, do that. Say what you do and how you help others, and that can help you in your future career. So think about it as a name and superpower. Name and superpower. That can be your great icebreaker in any communication. Let's meet some of the people and the way they introduce themselves. For example, Anne says that she's empowering ridiculously good marketing. Pam says, I help humans and businesses grow. Sujan builds and grow SaaS companies. Or Brian says, I'm translating the trends of tomorrow to inspire change today. Well, like. Or Dave is a personal trainer, and he says, I believe in you, now you must believe in yourself. So all of these are just like, as you can see, it's a one sentence, and all these guys are just consultants, trainers, or they have their own businesses and they help others to grow. And you can do that as well. I said at the beginning that I like humor. Therefore, I would say that the business presentation should be more like stand-up comedy. What does it mean to be more like stand-up comedy? I would say it has to be more entertaining, and has to be funny in a way. And also it has to have impact. It has to make the audience be present and participate in a presentation. So therefore, if business presentation should be more like stand-up, so the people who present at the meetings should be acting as stand-up comedians. And if you ask me, yes, we can learn a lot from stand-up comedians. At least we can learn how to have a pace in the way we deliver our punchline. We can learn from them how to interact with the audience. We can learn from them how to use silence during the giving messages, key messages. And now we're going to listen to one of the really good guys in a stand-up comedy. I like him. His name is Anthony Jeselnik, or I think Jeselnik is the way he pronounced it. And the way he does his jokes, for me, are very good, because he leads you in some direction, and whatever you expect, he's going to do something completely different. So in his way, expect unexpected. So just listen to Anthony. So you probably didn't see that coming when he said, like, I was digging in the backyard and then I found my mom's body. As you can see, the way the stand-up comedians interact with the audience is really good way how we could interact with our audience. They try something, they try some stories, and they listen to feedback. But also, let me just say some other stuff. And you all come from a management positions, right? You all have some management position. You are managing something. Well, management is communication. Whether you like it or whether you don't like it, we don't often think of management as a communication. But what we actually do is we do communicate a lot. I believe this is something that you all do on a daily basis. Write evaluation, have a meeting with somebody, create a marketing plan, email somebody about something, write something about something, interview somebody, and attend a supervisory board meeting at 5 o'clock or something like that. So as you can see, it's all communication. It all comes down to communication, and what makes us good in everything that we do. First of all, sometimes we say they don't get me, they don't understand me. We have to be very careful, and we have to be aware that if somebody doesn't understand us, it's not because they don't get it. It's because we probably poorly communicated whatever we want, whatever our needs. So the main issue, the number one question is, who is your audience? Who am I addressing? Who is on the other side? To engage you guys, I'm gonna just show to you a couple of audiences that you can come across in your daily life. It can be just general audience. What would be the general audience? It will be ordinary people that you need, and your communication with them should be clear, and you can provide them with simple explanations, and engage through some examples. Then people that you meet on a daily basis, especially in your job, are managers and decision makers. Maybe you are decision makers as well, but still you will be meeting some other decision makers. The language and the way you communicate should be formal, but also it should be simple. You need to also to express and explain data if there is any. Obviously, that you will then talk to experts. With them, obviously, the way you communicate should be different. It should be formal, but also there should be longer and more complex sentences. And obviously, there will be some people that, let's call them operators, that are where you just use your active voice, and there are no need for formulas and equations, and you have to give them like a short and precise commands. For example, if your operator is somebody like a waiter, please bring me a coffee, short coffee with milk and no sugar. Very simple. You don't have to explain that you need coffee in the morning to gets your juices going. You don't need that. Just simple operation. I hope this is so far easy to follow, right? You're aware of this? Okay, cool. Now, who is your primary audience, guys? Question for you. Who is your primary audience? Now, please scan the QR code. And this is the poll where actually you will be writing your answers. Okay, as you can see, I'm participating as well. Okay. Depends on situations. Okay. Okay. I can see that majority says clients, customers. Okay. Why? What is it? Who wants to participate? What is the difference between the primary audience and, for example, secondary audience? Who is the primary audience? Primary audience is the audience that makes most impact on me, actually. So in that sense, the primary audience for me is customers or clients, is the people that my job depends on. Sometimes it can be management board, because whatever I do for the pleasure or for the job that is given for me, because they are the ones who hired me, and I do my job and I report to them. So maybe that management board, but whoever is giving you salary, I'm not meaning literally who is giving you salary, not the banker or somebody in the HR office, but somebody that is really important for you to keep your job. That's your primary audience. In one sentence, I noticed here that somebody answered public. Okay, that's very okay, but I would like to see why are you saying public? You are probably working in public relations department or marketing department if you say public, but also bear in mind that you are addressing public and you want your public to behave, but not everybody in the public is your client. So when you're addressing the general public, you're actually trying to reach your targeted audience, and your targeted audience is actually your primary audience, the audience which is buying your product and services. Okay. Please, if you have any questions, if you don't agree with me and you want some clarification, don't hesitate. Just put your mic on and challenge me. So please, I'm always looking for any challenge. Thank you for participating. So the first question is about audience. Who is my audience? Once I know who is my audience, the next question I need to answer is, what is my purpose? What do I want to do with my audience? Generally, when we talk about the things we want to do, we want to inform, educate, persuade, or entertain our audience. But also, we want to say that, for example, if we are persuading somebody, then what is the way and what is the style how we do that? It's something that involves relating the problems, so explaining the problems to public, to our audience, and how that will impact our audience, and show them how the future will be if the audience adopts our perspective. That's why I'm saying here how it could be. So we want to persuade somebody how the things might happen. Usually it's proposal, it can be a request, funding request, and also it's a job application. So when we are at the job interview, we are persuading the other person, somebody who is hiring a professional, we're persuading that they will do the good job and that things will go really well if they hire me. No. I hope that's understandable. Then exposition, showing the things as they are. So that would be presenting complete information about a situation or a problem. Usually that's meeting minutes or performance evaluation, some technical presentation. Obviously, then there's a narration. We love to tell stories and presenting them in chronological events and how the things came to be. That can be, if it's my understanding that there are people from human resources with us, right? So whenever you're hear personnel complaining about something, if you hear some report on some problems within the company, well, that's narration, because they're telling you how the things came to be. And in the descriptions, when obviously we are trying to be very technical, it can be organizational charts, some technical specifications, etc. But in general, what we want to do is, when we talk with our audience, is either inform or educate, and sometimes we want to entertain them. And whenever we are communicating, obviously we will have some constraints. What those constraints can be, then we would say constraints consist of distribution. So in this case, it will be either we communicate in an oral way, email, visual, or in print. So whatever we want to do, that can be the first one. Like what kind of a channel we're going to use to send our message. Genre is like a form of present. It can be proposal, it can be contract, it can be memo, it can be email, it can be some kind of a evaluation form. Time is that's like at what time do I have a time limit to produce this piece of information? If I receive a question, do I answer right now, or do I buy myself a time? Do I need to work with the team to provide an answer? And then place of use. Sometimes we don't think about it, but it's very important. Let me just give you an example. If your CEO is on a negotiation meeting, and if you have a very important piece of information you want to share with your CEO, you don't create PowerPoint presentation to share that information. If that's very important, you just SMS your CEO, because and it has to be very short sentence about something which is related to that negotiation. So place of use is whether you use it, when you're going to send your information, etc. Is it office environment? If it's is it mobile environment? When I say mobile or online environment, or is it somewhere else? Also, we have to think about the relevance of our information when we send them. So these are some of the things that we need to have in mind. Okay, now I have another quiz for you guys. I'm gonna join the quiz as well. Okay. Quiz. During a virtual online meeting, you notice that participants are losing interest. What can you do to regain their attention? Please answer. Hmm? Okay. Lovely. %. Excellent. Pause to ask a question or conduct a quick poll. Okay. As you can see, I have a lot of polls. I have a lot of questions for you today. I don't want to lose your interest, guys. That's the way. Because I don't see you. Okay. 100%. Excellent. Only 4 individuals answered this, and I'm one of them. Okay. Tamara, help me. Is everybody here? Or they're gone?
They are for sure, but they're a little bit shy, so
They're shy? It's anonymous. Come
yes, you need to do something.
I need to do something. Okay. I need to do something. Okay, let's see. Well, guys, do you read? Do you read Harvard Business Review by any chance? If you do, I will ask you or advise you to look for this article. It says how to shine when you are put on spot. And it says here, avoid the default responses. Okay. What would be, Milice, as you are one of the active participants of this webinar, I'm gonna ask you, please. I'm gonna ask you a very default question. I will ask you the very simple, everyday question, and I want you to avoid default response. Is it possible? Can we do that?
Well, I can try. I can try definitely.
Let's try. Okay. So let's say I'm a CEO of your company, and we meet each other in a hallway. Okay. Just passing by each other. And I say, Milton, how are you?
I would say okay because I'm like always okay, and it's definitely a default answer. So, or splendid, or I would say I don't know. I'm person in out. You know, you can tell how I am. So I'm like it would be definitely a matter of that moment. I would be spontaneous, definitely. So I'm not sure. You know, it's hard now. Now I would say I'm great, boss. You?
I'll say busy. Thanks. Running for a meeting.
I said, don't worry. Life is really
But
beautiful.
still,
Come on.
still, come on, Milts. I believe you can do better.
Ah, come on. You're putting pressure on me.
Okay.
Uh,
What's your company? Where do you work?
well, I'm not a company, but you can
Really?
see it as in a way. I'm now working like 2 years in state institutions. So now I'm in the Ministry of Interior of
You work for
Montenegro.
Ministry of Interior.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool, excellent. So, let's say you are the minister,
Okay.
and I'm. What is your position? at the Ministry of Interior?
I'm at the head of the PR service now.
You're head of PR service. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. So you be minister and I'll be Milica. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Meet me in the hallway and ask me.
Oh, hi, Milica. How are you today?
Great. I'm handling these 15 media requests about about the latest police activity, and we're gonna nail it because the public has the right to know the answer. And I'm really fed up with all this false information in the media, and this is going to be the task of the week.
It's impossible answer.
Is it something that you can actually answer?
Yes, I can, but I don't like it because you sound like the best pupil in the class. Hey, teacher, I'm doing this, and that, and this, and I'm so nice, and so I don't like those kind of things.
Okay.
To be really honest, because if he is my boss, he knows that I'm doing that every day, because my boss knows that. They don't even listen. They don't even want to know how much I'm working. So.
Okay.
Can I add something?
Absolutely.
It's Tanya. I totally understand you, Milica, why you're thinking like that. And sometimes also I'm thinking like that I don't want to say what I'm doing and that I will do.
Slušaj, ali Tanja, to je već bilo, mislim, to je bilo u toku kad je Slaven poslao mail.
And
Jelena, please switch your mic.
So I just, but when I will put myself on the other side to be a minister, or now when I'm a director and running a big team, for me it is really valuable to hear what is the thing that they are working on or what they are excited about, and to bring something in the conversation about what was the last event or last thing which happened interesting for them. So it's not that you are cephalish or kako da kažem,
bragging.
Yes, it's about that you want to trigger some interest from him, because sometimes these big bosses, they don't know what everything happening, and they are in silos and they need the connection with the people. So sometimes the team is quite big and the minister is a high position, so believe me that he don't know the details what you're doing. That's how I'm perceiving. Maybe I'm working in a big institution and I have that experience, but sometimes we need to bring the things that we are doing, and that's a good opportunity. It's not bad, but I think in our culture we are understanding like bad when we are saying the good things that we are doing, and you need to find a way to say the good things that you're doing. That's how I learned the lesson about that, and some mentors told me that you need to say what you're doing because it's important. Big bosses they will not know what you're doing. So that will be from me.
Thank you, Tanya. That's exactly my point. Every chance with everybody is every meeting with anybody is a chance to present what are you doing, where you excel, what do you do best, to express your superpowers. Just reverse the roles, and if you send your minister on the streets of your town, and if he meets a journalist or public and they ask him like, hey, how are you? What is he going to say? He is going to say, well, we're doing everything we can to make the streets safe. And that's it. So whenever you meet him, you say, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to have the media I'm doing my best that media has the right
and accurate information. They are
accurate
informed.
and timely information about our ministry. It's not bragging. And just like Tanya says, one thing is in our, let's call it Slavic / Balkan culture, that like, don't brag, stay in the middle, stay on the average. But that's why we are here where we are. That's why we are here where we are, wherever we are. And if you say, oh, that's so American, yeah, but let's see where are the Americans and where we are. when it comes to technology and the marketing and the innovation and the approach and communication as well. So avoid default responses is one of those advices. Then another thing is the less is more. So when you respond to minister, don't talk about everything. Just highlight one or two, three things. Then, whenever we tend to be perfect, we tend to be perfect in everything we do. Is my presentation perfect? Is my outfit perfect? Are my glasses perfect? No, let's not look for the perfect. Let's be content with the good. Then whenever we communicate, let's think about space, pace, and grace. Space means like where we do. Pace is the way we say, and obviously let's have it on a level, something to do with the grace. And whenever you have a chance to speak, obviously organize your thoughts. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Milica.
Welcome.
Let's go on. Sorry. This is a German proverb. A man is seldom better than his conversation. So this is just a reminder for all of us, the way we communicate, verbally, non-verbally, that will determine who we are. Whatever we do, we want to convey our ideas and messages and influence the audience, obviously. Are you familiar with this pie? Where it says that perception of our ability comes from the way you communicate, and that, sorry, trying to move this, that our voice, the way we say, the way we look, determines more the way that we will be perceived by the other side. Are you familiar with this? Do you know this percentages? 7, 38, 55. Okay. So there was this professor who was doing a research, and he found out, so this is like scientifically proven, that when we interact with somebody, that the people will judge us. When I say judges, they will say, oh, we like this person or we don't like this person. Mostly 55% will be on the way we say something, the way we sound. The 38% is the way we look. So in general, 93% of our first impression, whether the other side likes us or don't like us, will be based on how we look and how we speak. And only like 7% will be about the stuff that we speak, the words we say. But bear in mind, this is just the whole research was done based on whether people will like us or they will not like us. Why is that important? Because sometimes people tend to not engage professionally with you if they don't like you. And that's why we know in communication, especially who has experience in public relations, we know that we need to establish understanding. We need to introduce ourselves. So we need to speak about ourselves, and we have to let the other side to learn more about ourselves, so they would understand us, accept us, respect us, and then actually eventually work with us. So bear in mind, there was this research which was saying that the impact is huge by the way you speak and the way you look. Obviously also by the stuff that you will say as well, but this is the pie which illustrates it. However, bear in mind that there is a 70%, also research done, that 70% of all the communication that we have is misunderstanding, misinterpretation, or it's not heard. Just like Tanya mentioned earlier, there are cultural differences between the people who interact in conversation. I have a friend, and he comes from Finland. I don't know whether you know, in Finland, they don't talk a lot. they tend to, when they meet each other, they can sit for hours and exchange a couple of words, and that's just fine in Finland. In our culture, when we hear silence for more than 2-3 seconds, we have a need to break that silence, and we start talking about whatever. Oh, look at that weather. Oh, look at that football team. Oh, this Euro competition is disaster. Or we will say, oh, it's Thursday, finally no games tonight, whatever. We start to talk a lot, and that can be very that can be, in our culture it's different, but bear in mind it can be seen as intimidating in some other cultures. Are you familiar with this photograph, guy? People, you know this Afghan girl? Okay, she was the face of National Geographic. She was on the cover, and this photo is known as the Afghan girl from the Afghan conflict 20 years ago. And what do you notice first with this girl?
Her eyes.
Her eyes, exactly. Why I'm saying, why I'm making this photograph, and why we all notice her eyes, because when you meet somebody, the first thing that you will notice is their eyes. In our language, we have even the saying in our culture where it says, eyes are front door of our soul, or gates to our soul. Eyes are gates to our soul. I would say that would be the best translation of oči su ogledalo duše, right?
Yeah.
Eyes are gates to our soul. Could be. So when you look somebody in their eyes, you will actually learn a lot about that person. You will see that person is either honest or they are lying, and that you can look at those eyes. I mean this woman, but when you bear in mind that eyes will tell you whether the person on the other side is respecting you, or open for dialogue, or lying to you. And you can actually look into many features about the eyes. If the eyes are going up, then probably that person is fantasizing. If the eyes are looking down, then that person is probably ashamed of something, or that person is lying. If they are looking straight into your eyes and delivering you something, that most likely that person is telling a truth. So bear in mind, when you meet somebody else next time, look them in the eyes and maintain eye contact. It also shows respect, and it also shows a trust. Still, there are some techniques, because looking in the eyes, straight in the eyes, can be haunting in a way. It can be challenging. But if you want to maintain the eye contact, then try to look persons in their eyebrows. They will have a feeling that you're looking them in their eyes, but actually looking just a little bit above. Okay. Another question for you guys.
Sorry, I will just jump in. In the chat,
Yes.
we got a message that participants who connected via phone, they cannot do the poll. So maybe they can just say it out loud or type it in the chat. So just so you know that not everyone can answer.
What a great suggestion. Thank you. So all you guys who are on the phone, you cannot participate in these polls, just unmute and say what do you think. Okay. What do we have here? Question is, which of the following is a technique for maintaining eye contact, maintaining intimate eye contact with different people? Yes. If you're giving a lecture in a room full of people, for example, Milica is holding a press conference, there are 15 journalists, And if you want to maintain the eye contact, look each of these 15 journalists in their eyes and place for 5-10 seconds and move from one to another. And that's way you will involve all of them into your activities, and you will involve them into your story. Okay. Thank you for participating, guys. Paul Ekman, he was, I think, the first. He's a psychologist, and he was the first one who came up with a theory about the human faces, or actually human face expressions, or 6 basic human emotions. Why I'm saying about these emotions? Because once you meet the person, you will look them in the eye and see whether they are honest or they are not honest, and are they friendly, non-friendly. And then the next thing that you will notice about that person will be their expressions, their face expressions. It's also one of those non-verbal things. There are 6 basic human emotions: anger, surprise, disgust, enjoyment, fear, and sadness. I believe you felt all these emotions, and you will actually notice these emotions with your friends and other colleagues or family members. You know when your child is happy, you know when your mom is not happy. So I have a question for you, little workshop, and that's linking message and emotion. We just mentioned there are 6 basic human emotions, but there are also some words that we can link them clearly to emotions. And please join me in this workshop. Let me help you. If you hear somebody who says, "Get out of my way," what kind
Anger.
of... Sorry?
With anger, no?
Anger.
Excellent. Cool. Do you want to try on your own to link the others? Let me give you a couple of minutes. Is okay? A couple of moments. Let's see, maybe somebody here, sorry, in chat. Okay, in chat. Yes, help me. Yelena, thank you, Yelena. Help me, yes, because I'm afraid. Get away from this disgust. Like, get away from this. Adriana. Wow, I'm surprised. Yes. Yelena, again. Yes. Comfort me because I'm sad. Let me just see. Who is this? Azra. Comfort me, enjoyment. Okay. Enjoyment will be which one, Azra? This feels good. Yes. Excellent. Hey, you're really good. You are really good. Thank you. Thanks everybody for playing. Let's move on. Oh. Also, if anybody wants to send a message, yes, I can read. And if you have questions, if you are too shy to speak, yes, you can write. Let's move on. As I mentioned earlier, so 93% of first impression is the way you look and the way you sound. But it's just when you're looking at, do you like or you dislike somebody? But still there are plenty of memes, and you can see actually this one, which says like, I have no idea what he said, but he's so darn cute. Sometimes we tend to believe some people because they just passionately talk about something. They have great presentation, they look great, and sometimes we overlook people who are shy, and that could be wrong in a way that if those are shy doesn't mean that they are not good. When people tend to be shy, then we overlook them, and they don't rise in their job, and they are left behind, and it's just because there was a poor communication. Therefore, yeah, try to be as proactive as most as you can. However, choose your channels. If you don't feel comfortable in speaking, then write. If you don't feel comfortable in power presentations, then write emails. You always have a chance, you always have a channel how to write and to address anybody you want to address. I mentioned this research was saying 93% of first impression is the way you the sound, the way you say, and also the way you look. But bear in mind that what you say is just as important, and how you say it, especially as if you address somebody who is decision maker, who is expert in the field. Obviously, they will be looking into details, and they will be looking in what you are saying, and that's very important. Let me tell you a joke. This is a joke, and something that I experienced a lot in my profession. So the joke goes like this: the professor of biology or chemistry is complaining to kids today about kids not knowing the basic things about chemistry, and the professor is saying, look kids, I know that this is difficult times, and but I'm really shocked that most of the kids don't know who is Maria Curie. And then one girl goes, it's not Maria Curie, it's Mariah Carey. That's a joke. So what I witnessed in my life is that people tend to mix my surname, and that can be frustrating. So whenever you meet somebody, and if you're preparing yourself for a meeting with somebody, bear in mind that try to remember that person's name. Saying the wrong name is awful. There is a great story in a professional basketball about the guy whose name is Stephen Curry. He plays in the United States, and he's American, and he was a young basketball player trying to make his first contract, and the Nike, the big shoe company, the sportswear company, they approached him, and when they presented him some ideas of how he could be the brand ambassador for Nike, they misspelled his name in presentation, and they also didn't delete another slide which was for some other player. So the guy said, okay, you misspelled my name, you and you pronounce it wrong, I'm not going to work with you. And he moved to another shoemaking company called Under Armour. This happened 15 years ago. Under Armour, in those 15 years, grew to be one of the leading basketball shoemaking companies, and they both this guy, Stefan Curry, and Under Armour, they grew really, really well. And when it comes to selling the shoes, first Curry became one of the most popular players in the United States, not just in the United States, but in the whole world, because he's small, he shoots well, and all the kids can really identify with him. So he became very popular. And just recently, maybe I think it was like 2 years ago, the Under Armour said like, we just can't pay you anymore how much money you make, how much money you bring to us. We're going to give you shares of our company. So he's one of the big shareholders of Under Armour. But it all started with the wrong pronunciation of name. That's amazing. So bear in mind, whenever you have a meeting with somebody, get their name right. Get their name right. Okay. And in our communication, obviously, walk is not talk, listen is not to hear. We the humans, we tend to not listen to understand. We are listening in order to prepare our own arguments and to jump on the other side, to attack the other side, and that's not good. We have to hear, and we need to not just to listen, but also to hear the other side, to understand the other side. And there are some ways how you can be absolutely sure that you understand the other side, and that's by repeating. For example, Milica says, I'm running a very difficult department. And then I would say, Milica, if I understand you correctly, you are running a very difficult department. What does it mean? So that automatically sends the message to Milica that she feels appreciated, because this guy is listening to me, he's interested, he's engaged. So if you want to be considered as a good communicator, you need to be seen as somebody who understands, who listens, and who wants to get more information. And trust me, and I'm telling you this from my experience, when you ask right questions and you let the other side to tell you more about their needs, their desires, their dreams, you have a better chance to be the one to answer to their needs, their desires, and their dreams, because you can listen. We can learn a lot from other side by listening to their needs, their desires, and their aspirations, whatever. You probably know the movie, The Wolf from Wall Street, right? You know the famous story, Sell Me This Pen. Jordan Belfort is the original guy from that movie. He says it's never about selling the pen. It's just a trick question. It's a test for the people who are in sales. It's never about what is the value of this pen. It's always about the questions. The questions where you ask the people, when somebody says to sell me this pen, you should say, okay, for how long you will be in the market looking for a pen? Why do you need this pen? What do you want to do with this pen? It's never about the pen. It's about learning about the other side. And that's actually to be active listener, to be good listener, and to ask good questions. And all those questions should be driving, and you have to listen from those questions to see whether you want to engage further with that person. Okay. And it's always the reaction that gives the meaning to communication. When you talk to somebody and that their reaction, that's everything. Try to look back to the last time you had a date with somebody, and when you were sitting in a bar and you ask questions and you talk, and what kind of reactions you get from the other side, you know, are you going to get the phone number or not? Are you going to see that person or not? The business communication is just like that. You're always trying to learn more, learn more about the other side. It's not about bragging about yourself. You just say some stuff about yourself, but learn about the other side. Your job is to investigate whether you want to work with that person or not. These are some of the positions which are very unique to all of us. We all been here. And if you ask me, when you're interacting with somebody, whether it's in a bar with a potential partner, or is it or your current partner, or is it a business meeting? The one on the top left, when you're leaning forward, that's the best thing. That's the best way in a non-verbal communication, where you share, where you're showing, yes, I'm interested, please tell me more. As you can see, just below, there's the woman who is leaning away, the guy is leaning forward. So it means that he's saying something where he wants to bring her on board, but she is refusing that idea, etc., etc. You can see them, and they're all presenting something. All those non-verbal things can help us in our own meetings to read the signs. Are there any signs that you usually read in a room? Anybody wants to share? What is the typical sign that you read in a room that you know that somebody is engaged or they're not engaged in your topic?
I can share something, but it's not the answer to your question.
Okay.
I'm laughing because I'm the woman on the right corner, down right corner. And I don't perceive that as a dominance. You know, I look mostly like this every day. And I wouldn't, perceive myself as a dominant person. It's like, relax.
But you're confident. It can be,
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be dominance, it can be confident. You feel very comfortable and very confident in whatever you do. So if you are that behind your head, you're very confident and nothing can touch you. So that's it. It doesn't have to be, not necessarily just confidence, not necessarily dominance. But you have confidence, then you dominate. You will dominate the room because you express your confidence.
It looks unserious like this, put like this. Definitely I won't sit like this anymore.
It depends who is on the other side.
Yeah.
It depends.
You will forgive me if it's you.
Next time, definitely. When I'm at the meetings, I'm usually the guy on the top left. I'm leaning forward. Even now, as you can see, I always try to position myself where I'm leaning forward. Although we are in an online meeting, I'm trying to lean forward. I set up my environment in that way so that I look totally engaged in the topic that we are discussing, in the issue that we're addressing, or whatever. And when I'm not happy with the issues, then I cross my legs. Then it's like, one leg over the other one, probably leaning back, looking into distance. And one of the things that I really don't like when I see on the other side is that people are reading their phones. So when somebody is reading their phones, I usually ask them, like, are there any urgent places, or is there some place they need to be, or they can help us get better in our meeting, in our webinar, or whatever. So that's what I do when somebody is
Can I jump in with a question, because I see in the chat phones are the worst. It's a bit risky to address that as well, because they might be confrontational. So I'm just kind of how do you assess that in the real life?
It depends on the venue. If for example, let's say I have annual report and my annual report is to deliver and to tell 10 key points from the last year, or 12 points for each month. And then I see that one of the people who are listening to me is quickly answering one issue and then putting the phone down, I don't mind. But if that person is totally engaged in something which is, I don't know, chatting with somebody about the dinner or coffee or football, then I would try to see how to engage that person, and that person would probably, I will ask that person like, what do you think about these reports so far? What do you think about this report so far? It doesn't have to be rude in a way that like, okay, so you are on your phone, I don't like it. No, I would just call that person and try to bring that person in so that person can feel a little bit uncomfortable by working on the phone. That's what I can do that in a two-way. One way is I call that person and I ask them like, what do you think about this? And the second thing is I physically approach that person. And then, when you usually when you with your peripheral view, when you notice that somebody is moving and coming close to you, you raise your head and you look to see what's going on, and then I keep my eyes on this person, and and then I talk about something, and I try to make the person engaged in a way. Are there some other questions? I didn't.
Can I?
Was there a question about it? Phones are the worst. Yes, Yelena, phones are the worst. Somebody wants to say something. Yes.
Vedran, it's Amina.
Oh, Amina. Yes. Hello, Amina.
How are you? So, I mean, it's all really excellent. And what you were saying kind of got me thinking about your overall body language, especially when presenting. So public speaking is like #1 fear of people throughout the world. So
Yes.
we have some tips for people of us that actually have to present sometimes. What can we do to make sure we are relaxed, but also that our not only our verbal communication, but also our body language kind of conveys confidence, persuasion, and our passion for the topic. So tips for the shy people in that sense.
Okay. When you have to, only when you have to, because if you need to address some issues and you don't feel comfortable by providing a PowerPoint presentation, you can always write an essay and send it, explain something. So but in the case when you have to address the crowd, and you have to address some audience, and it has to be in a PowerPoint, and you have to talk. Okay. There are at least two ways to do that. One is by visualizing. You will learn, you will read about many coaches, communication coaches, and I'm also communication coach. I am, but still, many of my colleagues will say visualize yourself on a stage where you deliver perfect speech. You visualize yourself, you close your eyes, and you visualize yourself the whole way from early morning till the end of that lecture. You visualize yourself getting up in the morning, having a coffee, having breakfast, sitting in the car, being happy, visualizing yourself entering the room, being happy, opening your PowerPoint presentation, being happy, delivering, and everybody over there is clapping, like visualizing everything. That's one way. And many of communication coaches will tell you, yes, visualize thing. It is very good. However, sometimes you don't have the whole view of you might actually be nervous if the things don't happen the way you visualize. That can be the problem. Therefore, I tell people that this is my advice. If you are going to have a presentation, bear in mind, it is not an exam. You are not standing in front of professors. It's not an exam. Nobody will say that you missed the date of the First World War or the Stalingrad battle or whatever. Nobody is going to do that. Everybody over there is looking for you to entertain them, educate them, inform them, or to call them to do something, to call them to action. And they all expect that from you. Most of the people in the audience wants from you to inform, educate, entertain, or persuade. So your job is to play on one of those four and try to select the style which best suit you. My name is Vedran, and I choose humor. I choose sunny, bright. I tend to laugh. I tend to joke. It suits my name. It suits my character. So learn something about yourself and identify what suits you the best. However, bear in mind, it's not exam. Nobody will judge you. And if you miss one slide, if you miss something that you wanted to say, but you didn't say it, nobody will know about it. Only you will know about it. So be relaxed. So, I mean, that's my advice. That's about how you present it. Another thing is always wear comfortable shoes, always wear comfortable clothes. And keep the water close to you. Keep the water close to you. Not necessarily eat a lot, eat a little, but don't eat a lot. Wear comfortable shoes, wear comfortable clothes. Simple is the best. I mean, for men, I know it's very easy. White shirt and dark blue, dark gray suit. That works all the time. For women, I will say don't go with stripes at all. Let it be one color, and when that's one color, let it be something neutral, not orange. If it's red, not orange red, but like more like maroon red, right? Maroon, okay, like Bordeaux. Try to be also blue. If it's green, let it be like dark green. Because if you have too much jewelry, if you have too much colors, people in the audience will be commenting your outfit more than listening to what you have to say. And as it says here on the screen, it's always helpful to learn from your mistakes because then your mistakes seem worthwhile. Okay, so as I mentioned, main things: share information, change behavior, call to action, or ensure understanding. There's this guy. He is author and he's consultant. His name is Julian Treasure, and he has his philosophy. He calls it HAIL: honesty, authenticity, integrity, and love. This is his guidelines, and I love his guidelines. They're really good, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. The honesty, like be straight and clear about what you do and what are you going to deliver, what are you going to say about your messages. Be authentic, do it in your own words, your own style, because you can't go wrong with being authentic. This is me, this is who I am, and just be yourself, whatever you do. Integrity, whatever you're going to say or deliver, whatever is your message, be absolutely sure that's something that you would do. Be true to your word. If I'm telling you that I start my presentations with humor, that means that really I start my presentations with humor. It's not that I'm saying this only for the case of today's webinar. And love, it's not in that romantic sense, but it's more about wishing people to move forward, wishing people to do better. And my task or my mission today is to be, in a way, inspiration or motivation to you guys, so you can learn, that you will learn more about this, you read more about these techniques. And if I manage to somehow inspire you to learn or write or read more about these things, then my job is done. And I really wish you all to be better and to better in your daily communication. Okay, one more quiz for all of you who are on desktop or in desktop or laptops. Okay, let's see, what do we have here? Dun-dun-dun. If a colleague seems disengaged during a meeting, which non-verbal cue might you adjust? What do you say, people? Somebody else. B. Yelena, thank you. Ta-tan. Yes. I was talking about it a little bit just moments ago. Okay, B is the correct answer. Thank you for participating. Ooh. Milica, Milce, you will probably get some kind of a prize. I'll send you something. Another thing, whenever you have a chance in your conversation, use positive reinforcement, like rewarding behavior with praise, recognition, or feedback. For example, so Milica, what would be the usual positive reinforcement? Would be good job, Milica. However, the better way is to provide a proper feedback. Milica, thank you for your contribution and your participation. You were a true sport, and I believe that without your feedback and without your participation, we would have even less participants in all these quiz. Thank you very much, and stay like that. So that will be a way to give you a positive reinforcement for your participation. At the end, I would say that whatever we do, it's all matter of perspective, right? And matter of perception. You are probably familiar with all these memes about what your friends think, what do I actually do? The board of directors, office management, as you can see, it can be either a marketing manager, it can be banker, it can be any position. You can find it online. And there are always these 6 elements, like what friends thinks, what my mom thinks, what society thinks, what my boss thinks, what I think, what I actually do. It's always like that. And bear in mind, it's all about perceptions. So when you talk, try to influence these perceptions. Try to influence these perceptions. Your communication will be about influencing these perceptions, because you will be meeting your friends, your bosses, your colleagues, and you always have a chance to influence your perceptions. Why is this important? This is the friend of mine from Belgrade, and he has this great quote, because he says people attribute certain qualities to certain events. They don't see reality. We don't see reality. We only interpret what we see and call it reality. That's why perception is everything. And it falls actually within what I do, because reputation is about perception. Reputation, at the beginning, I said I help my clients to elevate their brand reputation. It's all about perception, what other people think about you. Because like every brand has its own identity, which is like a logo. There's a slogan, how company behaves, what company communicates. It's all part of their identity. But there's always image. That's something that people think, that the image that they create in the heads of their customers and the general public. And there's a reputation, the values that we give to that company and or to that individual. And therefore, it's very important that we work on those perceptions, because in that way we build our own reputation. And the great Bosnian writer Meša Selimović said, man is not what he thinks, it's what he does. Therefore, whenever you communicate, it has to be true. It has to be with integrity. It has to be authentic. It has to be truthful, because lie will be spotted immediately. Simple. Some of the advices for you is, when you're preparing yourself to communicate, get background information, prepare yourself, stay positive. Whatever is your key message, reiterate your key message. Explain how your arguments can relate to audience. Don't lie, don't speculate, don't comment. I mean, you see these advices. And as we live in the modern age of TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, webinars, seminars, and podcasts, I will just turn your focus on these 4 things: lighting, framing, audio, and background. So this is my background. This is my lighting. Okay, I have a light, as you can see, which is coming to this is my frame. I don't want to put my head in the front, and obviously I take care of my audio. These are just some examples, and we can learn from them. If we look at this guy, his name is Ivan Dražetić. On the screen left, we can see that his head is in the front. Or if we look at this guy on the right, Charles, his camera is above, so we look from above at him. Central top, we see the guy who is addressing from Skype, but his lighting is not so good. Or we have on the corner right, we have a guy with a lot of lights in the background, therefore his face is very dark. If you ask me what is the best way, I would say Tarek Filipović, top left. He is a good one because he has a dark background behind him. He has a dark, he dressed dark. If out of these, he's the best. And so his face is in the front, but you can also help yourself to have your face in the front if you have a light and if you set up a little bit of background. But bear in mind that the background plays a big importance in all of this. At the beginning of this webinar, Nevena was like, let me see what kind of books do you read. Yes, but at least I'm sending a message that I'm reading. What would be my message if there is only just a blank wall, just like the guy in the middle? He has a blank wall. This Charles, he has little mascot somewhere on the window. Is that his mascot, or is that Alf, or his puppet, or whatever? So bear in mind what is your background, and it can tell a lot of things. It falls within those non-verbal, because it all tells a story. It's just like the way you dressed, or what is your background? Is your background business, or your background is neutral, or your background is sportish? Always bear mind about it. Robin Sharma says that you can't become legendary if you have no energy. It also comes in a way in a non-verbal, because your energy is something that you can actually communicate with your body language, with your facial expression, with the sound of your words. It's all there. Energy is easy to spot, and it's easy to feed on energy. If you see somebody, and if you hear somebody, if you meet somebody who has plenty of energy, we all tend to feed on that energy. So if you ask me, sometimes it's good to be a sun in a way, as sun which distributes energy and helps others to feel good about themselves. So if you can work on that, that's good for you. Okay, if you can talk brilliantly about the problem, it can create a illusion that has been mastered. Okay, that's a good one. Just for the end of this webinar, I'll share I'll share few advices, suggestions, guidelines. Whenever you're talking, whenever you have your presentation, share your stories. Your stories are your own experience, and nobody can tell your experience better than you. Be the ones and tell what happened to you and what you have learned about it, and share those lessons with others. Provide more pictures and less text. We all heard about that one picture speaks 1,000 words, and that's it. I mean, nobody wants to read a lot of text on a screen. Just keep those pictures and make those pictures to be the complementary to whatever you are talking about. If you're talking that you will have plenty of audience, make that audience be seen over there. Control your voice and the pace. Voice has to be there to help you articulate your messages, but also your voice has to be engaging. It has to go up and down. If you're talking about something exciting, let it be excited. Let your voice highlight that it's exciting. If it's something sad, make it sad. Make it stressful if needed. But you can play with that. Look at the people. I mentioned at the beginning, stand-up comedians, the way they use their voice and the pace. When they stop, when they use the silence, and how they highlight their messages. You can learn a lot about it by looking at movies, theater plays, or even sitcoms. Learn how to make your punchline, and actors are really good in that, and we can learn from them. Pay attention to your body language. You want to be engaged. You want to be open. Use your hands to highlight. If you are strong about something, make it seen. If you're going to say 5 points about anything, let other people notice that. If you are happy with everybody who participated in your course and their contribution, make it seen. So you can use your body language, and also your body language can tell a lot of things about you. Try to be open. Don't be shy. Don't look at the people. Tell them what it is. And if you're not comfortable by doing that alone. Share the stage. There is no shame in inviting somebody else to be there on stage with you. Dynamic duo can provide better energy or better dynamic, better pace of the presentation. Recently, I was at one presentation and I was asked by a company to provide presentation on one topic which I was not so much comfortable with, and that's why I invited my friend, and I said, okay, I will provide you with this presentation. However, I will be with my colleague. And they said, yeah, sure, why not? So the two of us, we delivered, and everybody was there. So if there were, when somebody had some questions that I was not comfortable with them, the friend of mine, he answered those questions, and two of us, we aced it. The audience was thrilled. They got they received what they wanted to hear, and I felt comfortable. I went for the Q&A. I'll let the other guy speak more, so I was okay. So at the end, communicate with a purpose, show value, and try to achieve your goals. In the words of Don Draper from Mad Men, make it simple. Make it simple but significant. That's all from me, guys. If you have questions, comments, feel free. You don't have to say now, you can write to me. This is my email address.
Thank you, Vedran. It was really great. Before I let Tamara kind of close and wrap up this workshop that is actually a core of her expertise as well, I learned two things. First, I will remove virtual background, because while you were speaking, I realized it might be showing a message that you're kind of hiding something. Like, I don't know, it just kind of seemed detached. I never thought of it, and I thought it was actually kind of good professional thing to do, but I completely have a different angle looking at it now.
Okay, Tamara, switch back.
Oh, she did?
Tamara, switch back your background. Tamara, you have to switch back because you have a.
I did.
No. Switch on. Not
Switch on light.
Because
okay.
you have a window. You have a window behind you. Don't
Yeah.
ever window unless it's a view on Eiffel Tower behind you, you know, or a Big Ben in London or something like that. If it's really amazing view and you have a good lighting on your face, then it's okay. But
unfortunately not. It's only a small office in Podgorica, but we can go with virtual background now. Vedran, huge thank you from our side, from our members. And I need to say amazing thank you to our members. Today we have a lot of members from Podgorica, a lot of familiar faces and names. I would like to say thank you especially to Milica, Adriana, Jelena. We also had Christina as well from Montenegro. We also have a lot of our members from Sarajevo. We have our members from Skopje. Huge thank you to Fanny. Tanya was from London. We have also our Nevena is calling from Dublin. We also had the Belgrade members from Belgrade, from Serbia. You're sitting in Sarajevo currently. We also have Amina there. We have Gina in Podgorica. So this is only overview how regional webinar was this. And thank you a lot for the opportunity to hear all messages which you shared today with us. We will definitely continue with those kind of trainings, which will be open to whole Women on Boards Adria community. Great, thank you to Jelena as well. Yeah, I think I mentioned that. And share our stories. We are very active on social media, I must say. If you need any additional, if you have additional questions, you can contact Vedran as well, but you can communicate with us. And that would be all from our side. Huge thank you from Nevena's side and from my side as well.